Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm like fixing my hair and everything this morning, right? Okay, so welcome to the Ask Terry show. Today we have a question about envy. Person has asked, of course, we're not using names, okay? So I find myself being envious of my brother's success. So I'm guessing that you're wanting to know how to overcome that and what to do about it. Maybe even where it comes from, right? So I think that when we are adults and well, even as children, right? But especially as adults, we are in the groove of our daily life, right? We maybe have 3 kids and we're going to work and we're married and, we have our stresses with our children. We have our stress with our spouses. And, we're on that grind of the rat race and going to work 9 to 5, coming home, doing whatever with the kids, with the husband, going to bed, getting up and doing it all over again, right? And sometimes even Facebook can make us envious of other people's lives because we only see what they portray and we only see the good times, right? We don't see the bad times. We don't see the hardships and things like that. Typically, people, even when people do post stuff like that, you don't want to see it. So, I think it's in this society where everyone is living out loud, it's very easy to become envious of other people's lives because we think they have something that we don't have. And so I'm going to say to you, first of all, that yeah, people experience that, right? They do. Because you start to feel like your life isn't quite the way their life is. And you don't want the way your life is, right? So envy usually comes in because we aren't satisfied with our life and we wish we had someone else's. So in this situation where you're envious of your brother, I don't know what their lifestyle is. Maybe they don't work at all. Maybe they work, but they make an awful lot of money and they have a lifestyle where they get to do an awful lot of things that you don't get to do. Maybe they have all the toys, the boats, the things like that, the jet skis, the vacation home on the lake kind of thing, right? And you feel like, okay, how is it that we grew up in the same house and we're living 2 different lifestyles? That happens a lot, guys. It's different than trying to keep up with the Joneses because the Joneses had a different background than you. But when you see your own sibling having a better lifestyle, you're scratching your head, right? And you're thinking, well, wait a minute. We had the same mama, the same dad. We grew up in the same house with the same crazy people. And how is it that he is being successful? How is it that he is maybe has a lot of material things? And those 2 things are not the same. Success is not the same as having material things, right? Everyone defines success a little bit differently. I like Warren Buffett's definition of success, which says that you're successful when you're surrounded by love, right? And maybe you think, well, he has a great marriage and I don't. But do you really know what goes on in their marriage? Do you know all the work that they've maybe put into their marriage? Do you know that maybe he's cheating on her and he's not telling anyone in the family? You don't know everything. You just know what they present to you. So even, I love to watch American Greed. Why? Because it teaches me a lot. And one of the big lessons that I learned is that people can portray as though they are very successful, that they have all these material things, that they have the great relationships, and they're really scamming people the whole time, right? So, I don't want you to look at what people have on the outside, but if you truly know your brother is successful in all areas of his life, then talk to him. I mean, You guys hear me say that all the time. Communication is the key to everything. So just pick up the phone or have a lunch and say, hey, how are you getting there? Some of you guys know that I do this thing where I interview successful people. I've done it multiple times. I have a sheet of questions that I ask, and I just kind of get into their lives of, what's going on. And it's really cool to hear the hardships that they overcame and how they continue to struggle with some things even now. And yet I view them as successful. And what more than one person has turned around and said, but Terry, you're successful too. Yeah, but I still want to learn, right? Because I'm not where I want to be. So, sit down and talk with your brother. Sit down and talk with that person that you might be feeling envious, and be honest and say, hey, I find myself being a little envious of your lifestyle, right? I find myself being a little envious of all the great things you have going on in your life. Teach me your secrets. How did you get there? It may be that he got involved in real estate 5 years ago and that turned him around. It might be that he took a huge risk 10 years ago and left his company and worked like crazy and almost went into bankruptcy because he wanted to make something of his own. And now he's reaping the rewards. So when you find yourself being envious of a person, just sit down and talk to him and ask him 10 million and one questions. And then you will find that, hey, it's not a matter of being envious. It's a matter of saying, okay, I have a coach now. I have a mentor. I have someone that I can, follow behind, develop a roadmap. And then you develop your roadmap, your plan of action, and then you act, right? And that person, I bet you, will be there to support you the whole step of the way. Alrighty, I hope this has been helpful, guys. I will see you on Monday, all right, at 8:15. Bye.